everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much everybody for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much everybody who's listening in the podcast. It is Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. I wanted to come here guys and make this video because as I told you in my previous video, I know there's a lot that has been happening, and please by any means don't think that I am not aware. Everything that has been happening with the Hurricane Helene and the devastation that it had created. I know right now there's a lot of people still struggling to recover, dealing with floodwaters, losing a lot of material things. People lost their lives too. So I just wanted to say that I've been praying for you since I heard about this storm that was coming, and I pray that if you lost a loved one, that God will comfort you. And I also pray that if you lost material things, a lot of people lost their homes, their cars, that God will be able to guide you through so you can recover everything that you need. In this case, you guys, I'm going to talk about a man who went into floodwaters during this storm and saved a woman from that. And right now he actually created a GoFundMe account to help the woman recover everything that she has lost, and also other people in the community. As you guys know, if you follow me for a while now, I do support a lot GoFundMe because I think it's a way of us, I guess, the people looking from the outside and not necessarily being affected by the devastation like they are, or not being able to go there, to be helping, clean up and helping people affected by this, but in a way somehow to sympathize for whatever it is that people are going through, and perhaps also know their story and pray for them, and also help in a monetary way. So I definitely support a lot GoFundMe. It's a way, I think it's a good way for community to people unite and come together to help those in need. Let me read to you guys briefly this article. A man dives into a raging waters to save a woman caught in Helene floodwaters, then starts a GoFundMe campaign to help her rebuild. Okay, Eddie Hunnell, I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing the last name. Eddie Hunnell was in Grassy Creek, North Carolina for his son's wedding when he learned that there was a woman trapped in a nearby house that was surrounded by rising floodwaters. Fearing that the house might collapse on her, Hunnell had the woman jump into the river, and when he couldn't reach her himself by a canoe, he jumped in the water himself. Okay, that's such a bravery right there. Not only that, but there are a lot of things sometimes we see people in need and a lot of people are frozen, they don't know what to do. This man didn't even think it twice. He's like, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna help as much as I can. And not only that, when he couldn't reach her, he jumped himself into the waters to reach her. Okay, he said, I had told her to jump and she did, and I couldn't leave her there. Okay, Eddie Hunnell was in the western North Carolina last weekend to celebrate his son's wedding, which put him in the right place to dive into raging Hurricane Helene storm's waters to rescue a woman in need. I couldn't leave her, he said. He's 57-year-old engineer in Holly Springs, North Carolina. He said knowing rain was in the forecast, Hunnell arrived at the River House Inn in Grassy Creek on Thursday, September 26th. The next morning, it was raining hard, and they lost power and several trees fell nearby. Around 2:30 p.m., Mr. Hunnell was in the hotel lounge when he overheard someone tell the owner that the woman was trapped in her house about 250 yards up the road. He said, quote unquote, I said, guys, let's go. Let's see what we can do to help. That's so, that's so amazing. When you hear stories like this, you're like, that is so amazing. That's what God called us to do, to help each other out, right? A lot of the times, we, like I said, sometimes it's not happening like outside our windows, and we're like, oh, doesn't really affect me. So, when you hear stories like this, he was there for a wedding, and then he heard that somebody was trapped, and he's like, okay, let's see what we can do, right? Such a bravery. That's amazing. Okay. After getting there, Mr. Hunnell said he spoke to Phil Worth, who said the woman was his wife, Leslie. At that point, the house was surrounded by waters, so they called the authorities, but before the rescue crew could arrive, Mr. Hunnell saw a canoe, then grabbed a life vest and started rowing. The water was moving too fast to get the canoe up the house, so instead he yelled over the loud raging waters to Leslie, telling her that if the house started moving, she needed to jump into the waters, okay? He said, quote unquote, I didn't want the house to collapse on her because she surely would drown. Then Hunnell saw the roof of another house floating down the river, and he knew it was only a matter of time. So, as the back of the house fell away, Hunnell saw Leslie standing in the second-story bedroom wearing a life jacket. So he said, so I yelled, jump, and he said, after she jumped into the waters, okay, I'm so happy that she followed the instructions. Some people, not everybody that goes through trauma like this, being stuck in floating waters, or in the roof of a house, or dealing with a hurricane. Like, some people, when they have to take action, like to even get help, they freeze, so I'm glad that she was able to follow his instructions. And he's saying after she jumped into the waters, he tried to get her into the canoe, but the conditions made it too difficult. So he grew up, Mr. Hunnell grew up swimming in the rivers, came up with a new plan. He was going to get in the water and swim to her. I had told her to jump and she did. I couldn't leave her. That's what he was saying before. So that's amazing. I mean, I'm just looking at a photo. I'll see if I find it. I'm looking at a photo of him smiling with the lady. Mr. Hunnell reached her. He grabbed onto the back of the life vest that she was wearing and said, I got you, just kick. And he said, and after about 250 yards of riding the current, he was finally able to make it towards the shore, to the point where he was able to stand up and walk the rest of the way. And that's amazing. I'm so glad, like stories like this, it's always good to hear that, okay? That night, the couple joined Mr. Hunnell and his family at his son's rehearsal dinner. They had nowhere to go, nothing to eat, nowhere to go to stay warm, okay? Now it says here that he started a GoFundMe campaign to help the couple, and made the first donation and he also made the first donation himself. That's great. And this is what he said, quote unquote, there was only one thing in that house you couldn't replace, and that was Leslie. He said, the family's overjoyed. It's causing me to tear up. He said, for that reason, of course, I'm very happy I did it. See, that's amazing. Okay, here's a man who's there, right, to attend his son's wedding, and he's faced with this great opportunity. Like this is something that we should all learn from. God is always giving us opportunity to help somebody, right? It's up to us, right? And if you are a Christ-believing person, our duty is to help each other, right? And don't look the other way. Sometimes we're like, another person could have been like, oh, I'm here for the wedding. I'm not going to get myself stressed out. You should be calling, the authorities for that. Go help somebody. Like, he didn't even think it twice, He saw an opportunity. He immediately wanted to help. And now he created a GoFundMe account. It wasn't like he just didn't, like, he let it, he's like, okay, never mind, like, I have things to do, that, I have other things going on. He saw that they basically lost everything, right? So when you hear stories like this, so inspiring, that every day we can do something to help somebody else. Always remember, right, that just because it's not affecting you doesn't mean that you shouldn't do anything about it. Because every person, right, and I don't know, like, why I'm saying this, but I'm sure, God knows who needed to hear this. Every person that's in need, remember, guys, that's a child of God, right? And you are a child of God who is called to obedience and glorify Him with everything that you do. So always keep that in the back of your head. Some people don't want to be inconvenienced. Some people don't want to be bothered, right? But that's, God just reminded me of this verse. The Bible says, His power is made perfect in our weakness, okay? And you guys know I'm horrible about quoting the Bible, but I'm going to search it right now just so that I can end with that. Because I don't want to, misquote the Bible. Absolutely never. So he said, this is found 2 Corinthians 12:9. He said, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Okay, that is just amazing. Jesus said, my grace is sufficient for you, my strength is made perfect in weakness. Okay, so most gladly, therefore I would rather glory in my weakness. Okay, so always remember that, guys. Sometimes, when we are so scheduled, we live a life that is so scheduled, we don't want to be inconvenienced. But every opportunity, especially to help somebody, is an opportunity for all of us to glorify God by doing so also, right? Because the Bible also said, there's another verse, that God is talking about, when did we see you hungry? When did we see you in jail? We didn't go and see you. And he said, if you did it for the least of this, you did it unto me. So always remember those verses, guys. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm gonna leave the link for the GoFundMe account. If you feel that to help out, please do. And and you can read more of the whole story. The link in the GoFundMe campaign, there's the whole story about what I just told you guys about the probably more details about this rescue, about Leslie. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Have a good day. God bless. Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe and share. And if you want to know more about me, you can visit my website, julissadesigns.com. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.